I choose a lazy person to do a hard job. Because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it. If you can't make it good, at least make it look good. Your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose. I really had a lot of dreams when I was a kid, and I think a great deal of that grew out of the fact that I had a chance to read a lot. If you give people tools, and they use their natural abilities and their curiosity, they will develop things in ways that will surprise you very much beyond what you might have expected. I agree with people like Richard Dawkins that mankind felt the need for creation myths. Before we really began to understand disease and the weather and things like that, we sought false explanations for them. Now science has filled in some of the realm, not that religion used to fill. As we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. In terms of doing things, I take a fairly scientific approach to why things happen and how they happen. I don't know if there's a God or not. DNA is like a computer program, but far more advanced than any software ever created. Measuring programming progress by lines of code is like measuring aircraft building progress by weight. Computers are great because when you're working with them you get immediate results that let you know if your program works. It's feedback you don't get from many other things. Our success has really been based on partnerships from the very beginning. The vision is really about empowering workers, giving them all the information about what's going on so they can do a lot more than they've done in the past. Bill Gates. It's fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lessons of failure. Power comes not from knowledge kept but from knowledge shared. I think it's more like we both had this rich neighbor named Xerox and I broke into his house to steal the TV set and found out that you had already stolen it. I believe that if you show people the problems and you show them the solutions, they will be moved to act. Some people may call me a nerd. I claim the label with pride. So it's an absolute lie that has killed thousands of kids. Because the mothers who heard that lie, many of them didn't have their kids take either pertussis or measles vaccine, and their children are dead today. And so the people who go and engage in those anti-vaccine efforts, they kill children. It's a very sad thing, because these vaccines are important. Technology is just a tool. In terms of getting the kids working together and motivating them, the teacher is the most important. Daryl does talk, Skylar said. If you listen. And FYI, I have a really strong feeling that he's going to be the next Bill Gates, so you might want to be a little nicer to him. We didn't want to be presidents, or astronauts, or Bill Gates. We had pathetically simple dreams. To do meaningful work that we could be proud of, to be together, and to be happy. That certainly wasn't too much to ask. Or was it? Tiffany DeBartolo, God-shaped hole. The cruel injustice is that even though the world's poor are doing essentially nothing to cause climate change, they're going to suffer the most from it. If you can't make it good, at least make it look good. Like almost everyone who uses email, I receive a ton of spam every day. Much of it offers to help me get out of debt or get rich quick. It would be funny if it weren't so exciting. Bill Gates. To sum up, we need to accomplish something gigantic we have never done before, much faster than we have ever done anything similar. The climate is like a bathtub that's slowly filling up with water. Even if we slow the flow of water to a trickle, the tub will eventually fill up and water will come spilling out onto the floor. That's the disaster we have to prevent. Setting a goal to only reduce our emissions, but not eliminate them, won't do it. Making things, cement, steel, plastic, 31% plugging in, electricity, 27% growing things, plants, animals, 19% getting around, planes, trucks, cargo ships, 16% keeping warm and cool, heating, cooling, refrigeration, 7%. The point is that when we focus on all three things at once, technology, policies, and markets, we can encourage innovation, spark new companies, and get new products into the market fast. Bill Gates. There's no magic line between an application and an operating system that some bureaucrat in Washington should draw. It's like saying that as of 1932, Cars didn't have radios in them, so they should never have radios in them. But I hope you'll spend more time and energy supporting whatever you're in favor of than opposing whatever you're against. I studied everything but never topped. But today the top, whatever other resources you may have, you can always use your voice and your vote to affect change. Pers of the best universities are my employees. Well, I went for a ride but I didn't find my car. There are two numbers you need to know about climate change. The first is 51 billion. The other is 0. 51 billion is how many tons of greenhouse gases the world typically adds to the atmosphere every year. Bill Gates. Remember that we need to find solutions for all 5 activities that emissions come from: making things, plugging in, growing things, getting around, and keeping cool and warm. There's one last way we can cut down on emissions from the food we eat: by wasting less of it. In Europe, industrialized parts of Asia, and sub-Saharan Africa, more than 20% of food is simply thrown away, allowed to rot, or otherwise wasted. In the United States, it's 40%. That's bad for people who don't have enough to eat, bad for the economy, and bad for the climate. When wasted food rots, it produces enough methane to cause as much warming as 3.3 billion tons of carbon dioxide each year. It may sound old-fashioned, but letters and phone calls to your elected officials can have a real impact. In my view, investing in public libraries is an investment in the nation's future. Business is a money game with few rules and a lot of risk. Bill Gates.
Please like, share and subscribe our channel and click on bell icon.